this is a fun part of the show that,
I learn a lot.
This was something that we decided to do kind of randomly, and then people seem to, the community digs it. Like we're getting enough response that it's like, hey, we're just going to keep it going. Comic books, as far as collecting, there's a lot of reasons to collect, something that you hear a lot. You'll hear Gem Mint say it a lot.
It's your boy Gem Mint.
He'll say, have the hobby fund itself.
Correct.
Right?
I've heard that before.
Right? You've heard that.
It's good advice.
I don't recommend putting your entire paychecks into
Do not sacrifice your rent payment for a comic.
Comics can be pretty expensive.
Yes.
We're talking about grails on this very show. This ain't cheap. But what I will say is I've always done this, and to this day, my paycheck doesn't go into my comics. I have the hobby fund itself. I purchase, I buy, I trade, I grade, I sell, I trade up.
It's also nice because you can kind of cheat yourself. You can talk yourself into spending more money than you would if it was like your actual, paycheck money.
True.
Like, I flipped this book. I made this money. I can afford it's extra money. It doesn't count.
Yeah,
so I'm going to go ahead and buy a bigger book with it.
You do the work. I want to hear Comic Fam in the chat. What are some of the things that you do to make these bigger purchases easier? Do you guys trade? Do you buy? Do you sell? Do you save up? Do you do like layaway payments? Like there's a lot of different ways that people do it. But one way that is very common across the board is to purchase things that are cheaper with the intention of worst case scenario, being able to make your money back, or best case scenario, it moves up even a little bit.
I would say even worst case scenario, you don't make any money at all. And worst case scenario, you're only out a couple of bucks.
Yeah,
even if you can't flip it.
I think that
you're stuck with.
I think the goal is that if you're buying just because you're appeasing yourself, hey, I happen to like Plastic Man. I'm going to buy this Plastic Man cover because I like Plastic Man. That's what we call buying something you love. We hear that too. Buying something you love means that you may cost yourself money.
Right.
You may never make that money back. That book that you bought for $4 may be in a dollar bin in a month at that same LCS. That happens.
All the time.
However, what I'm talking about is members who are trying to gear towards investment stuff.
And flipping and selling books and becoming like a dealer and moving comics. That's a whole separate side of collecting.
Participating in the community.
Correct.
Right?
Not just reading your books like me. Like you buy books, you read them, you put them away. You don't really sell stuff very often.
Grade them. Maybe you can put them into lots though.
Right.
And you can sell lots. That's another form of dealing.
That's the whole thing.
It's the same. It's a lot of people do it. So the idea is if you can score certain books on the cheap that seldomly are going to cost you money because you're doing some due diligence, just a little bit, you can at least make your money back immediately or have a shot of doing of making money off the book because it goes up $5, goes up $10. Some of the early books that I flipped when I started doing it more often because I wanted to get bigger books was like Vengeance of Bane. And I remember the moment of like scoring a really, really nice copy of the first appearance of Bane and then going online going, oh, wow, this book is selling for 3 times what I paid for it. I like Bane. I like this key. I don't need a near mint copy for my PC. I would rather have whatever I wanted at that time. And I sold that Bane comic book and I was okay with it. And that wasn't anything that I planned. It just happened. And when you have that type of lens on your on the buying power that you're putting out into the world, you get lucky and those wins add up. And this next portion of the show is talking about books that you can add to your list on the hunt.
They've got to be easier to find too, since these aren't your gigantic keys that everybody's on the lookout for. These are things that are cheaper, that are probably just languishing away in a bin somewhere that shop owners don't have the time to hunt down.
Literally on eBay right now for under $10. So keep an eye out for these in dollar bins. Keep an eye out for these LCSs. These aren't even books that if you find it and it's in the dollar bin and you go to your average LCS who's being a stickler about repricing their books, we're seeing that in the community a little bit more. Every store runs their stuff differently. I'm not judging. However, these books are so inconsequential that most of those stores even will go, yeah, $1, I don't care. It's not even like minor keys at this point. But when you see these, you're going to go, oh yeah, it makes sense. So let's take a look at some of the 10 for 10 and big shout out to Octavio.
There might not be 10 here.
I think there's 10.
We didn't count. I didn't count.
All right, we have Young Avengers number 4. Ooh. This is a Kang the Conqueror cover. We're seeing so many Kang books spiking. And this one right here is from an underappreciated run outside of the key appearances. This book you can find in dollar bins. You can find for $5. You can find for near mint $10 right now on eBay.
I'm going to give some advice. I don't know if that's the right word.
Do it.
I stayed away from reading this book for a very long time because it has the
title?
word young in the title.
Yeah, that's a lot of people did.
I thought it was going to be for kids. I thought it was going to be lame and childish and stupid and silly. And I stayed away from it for the longest time until one day I was just dinking around on the Marvel Unlimited app and I decided to read it out of nowhere.
Dude, it's so good.
It's really good.
It's fantastic.
At least the first arc.
The first 2 arcs are great.
I only read the first one.
Read the second one too.
Exactly.
It gets really good. And
it's a really good comic.
Freaking Iron Lad, dude. We got Kang. We got Patriot.
Not only that, they are setting up this. I don't want to say all of them, but as far as I can remember, every member of the
Kate
Young
Bishop,
Avengers,
Cassie Lang,
they're all in the MCU.
Patriot, Kang, Wiccan, Speed. I mean,
Hulkling, I believe. Hulkling, I don't think
maybe
is
not.
in the MCU yet.
We don't have a Hulkling. We don't have Amadeus. We don't know who they're going to run with. But
they are clearly gearing up for a Young Avengers something in the MCU.
Bishop, yeah, I think it's a Kate Bishop. Yeah,
right.
It's all here. It's waiting.
If Spec is your thing, this is something I think is. I'm not a Spec person, but Young Avengers is kind of obvious.
I promise you, if you find this for $1, you'll be in the money.
Even if you only just read it and keep it in your bins forever in your short box, this is a good comic.
I think that this is a easy pickup. It's a fantastic cover. You have Iron Man, you have Cap, you have Patriot, you have Iron Lad looking like he's not doing too good, and you have Kang prominent. This next one is Ultimate Comics Wolverine. Now this is a weird one, okay? Because again, we're talking cheap books, and one of the fun things about cheap books is that even if things don't play out, worst case scenario, you have a fun minor key that's cool to have in your collection, and you paid $5. Okay, no one's complaining,
right?
No one's complaining. It's okay.
Hopefully, $5 will not make you homeless.
There you go.
Hopefully, that's not the make or break for your house payment.
This is the first appearance of Lady Kang. Now, there's been female Kangs in the past. Ravonna actually threw on the Kang wear at one point during the Terminex narrative, I recall. However, this Lady Kang is an evil version of Sue Richards, which is kind of fun because Franklin Richards in the Ultimate Universe is also evil.
Reed Richards.
Excuse me.
Mr. Fantastic. Yeah, he becomes the maker.
Of course. Reed Richards becomes the maker. But this one right here, actually, I have a picture of it. You see the female Kang in this, evil Sue Richards, appearing in this comic book that goes for $4.
I also think the Ultimate comic universe as a whole is pretty underappreciated. Ultimate Spider-Man, I think a lot of people know about, classic Bendis stuff, but the wider Ultimate universe, I think, is just an easier way to kind of learn the overall X-Men story. If you don't want to read 50 years worth of, Stan Lee, Jack Kirby back issues, which you should still, dabble with. They're hard to come by, and the writing doesn't hold up that well. I'm a pretty big proponent of trying Ultimate Comics.
Absolutely. I'm right there with you, and I've had more luck getting people into superhero comics from the Ultimate run.
Sure.
Yeah.
The old stuff is kind of, it's not for everyone.
That's right.
Not for me, anyway.
Absolutely. So, mind you, are we going to see Lady Kang? I mean, we've seen combinations of characters in
We haven't even seen Kang yet.
We haven't even seen Kang yet.
We've only seen a variant of Kang.
Yeah, we're going to see variants of Kang. Like, we saw Jonathan Majors, playing with action figures, essentially little statues of, 15 different versions of himself. Look at what happened with Sylvie. Look at what happened with female Loki. Is it
Alligator
that much,
Loki?
Is it too much of a stretch to think that there may be a female version of Kang the Conqueror? And if so, what's interesting with Sylvie and the various versions of like when Loki occupied Sif's body, for example, those books, although they hiked up to a really high extent, so that's great for an investment if you sell at the right time, but they maintained at a level that was still way above what they were prior to the show, and it didn't even matter that they didn't resolve it and that we didn't get the full narrative and we don't even know where these characters are going, if we're going to even see them for over a year. So this right here is, again, a $4 book, $3 book. Look in dollar bins for something like this. And say what you'll say, but to a Kang collector, I think this is cool.
Yeah.
Like, if I'm not a Kang collector, I'm not collecting a bunch of Kang, but if I was, it's an alternate version of Kang, and I think it's dope.
That's kind of the fun of the Ultimate Universe, too, is seeing characters you recognize from the actual Marvel Universe popping up and what new twists they can do on them. Like Thor's a homeless guy, a homeless drunk guy.
Yeah, right. They switch it up.
Yeah.
And guess what? When Thor, they called him Fat Thor.
Right.
Which is never a thing in the comics.
They honestly used more of the Ultimate Universe for the MCU than the actual Marvel Universe.
And this Fat Thor,
that's where Samuel L. Jackson, Nick Fury comes from.
Where it was deemed, that book spiked because of a type of Thor that they utilize in the movies. Now, did it maintain a crazy amount? No, but if you can find it for super cheap, it's like a fun memento. It's a fun minor key, and you never know. You never know. Ultimate Comics, The Ultimates number 30. This marks Lady Kang's first cover appearance. Cover art alone is stunning.
Yeah, that's a good one.
You know what I mean?
I like it.
I think this is just cool. Could this be something in the future? I don't know. Probably
it's
not.
Not even that old.
I don't know. It's not that old, but it's a really cool cover. And it's Lady Kang. There we go. We told you here. What's up?
Do you think Lady Kang can go invisible? She's Sue Storm, right? Does she have
Maybe she can.
Time travel and invisibility and force fields?
I don't know.
I need to read that.
These are good questions. I need to read that run too.
I have not read.
All right. Now we have a 3-issue trifecta. All right. This is one of 2 trifectas we're talking about today. Silver Surfer 106, 107, and 108. This is 106. I think this is actually going to get us to 10, actually. 107 and 108.
Oh, I guess if you count these as individuals.
Yeah, I'm going to count these as individuals.
That's fair. I don't think you and I can get on the mic and Silver Surfer not comes up.
We have to talk about our Silver Surfing warrior.
Right.
I love this guy, man.
Look at those abs.
I feel like I know him a little bit after our coverage on Infinity Gauntlet. I feel like we got to know a friend. He's a friend to me now.
Right.
You got a friend in me.
Goodness.
It's Randy Newman.
It is Randy Newman. Thank you, Tom.
There's a jungle out there. Lord. That's Monk, dude. That's freaking Monk. You know, side note.
Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah, dude. So over here,
13 Ghosts.
People go, hey, I have here. Let me bring this back up. You need to watch that. I can't believe you watched that. So can we even see it up here? You can't even see it on the main screen.
Do you want me to move the camera? I don't want to touch the camera. Never mind.
I'm just going to take it down.
So
this right here, I've had people ask, is that your mom?
I wish.
Ryan's on fire!
Oh, Ryan. No.
Oh, Jan.
Is this my... Oh, Jan. No.
I do like your mom. Not like that.
We're learning so much about FireGuyRyan.
We can cut this out later. It's fine.
It's
not like we're live.
Is this your mom, Tom? I've heard that a few times.
It'd be kind of weird if you had a signed photo of your mom in your
looking like
studio.
this. No, I wouldn't. No.
Or in general.
In general, right? No, this isn't my mom. No. Who this is Jan Levinson Ghoul, but no Ghoul from The Office, of course, because we're big Office fans. But you know what? This isn't just Jan. This is Trudy. Trudy is Monk's past wife in the show, who was killed by a car bomb.
Monk.
And for those,
oh no!
Oh wow! I'm just knocking over my.
That's a good catch, though.
I caught him. I caught my Green Rangers. That's why I don't like to move the stuff. But for those of you who've ever watched Monk or haven't, you should. It is a incredibly good show.
I've shoved so many shows down your throat. I should probably watch Monk, but I know I never will.
I think you would. I think you'd like it.
Buffy's gonna happen first.
Buffy's priority right now.
Obviously,
Buffy's
actually cool.
Monk is like. It's special.
Isn't he just like a guy going around solving crimes?
Yeah, but he's got like massive OCD,
right?
A little mental illness.
But he's just.
But then his wife dies, and then he gets even worse. So he can barely function. So he can't be a police officer.
But he can still solve crimes and mysteries
because he's like able to see things other people can't. Dude, I'm telling you, dude, it's some of the best acting.
There's a Dharma Initiative.
There's no Dharma.
There's no Dharma Initiative.
If there's no conspiracy, Ryan doesn't want to watch it.
Right.
Okay, keeping it going. Comic fam, if you've watched Monk, you know what I'm talking about. All right, so we have Silver Surfer 106, 107, and 108. When you think of Silver Surfer, you think of Fantastic Four. When you think of Fantastic Four and Silver Surfer, you think of Galactus.
Sure.
You think of Fantastic Four, you think of Doom, but seldomly do people think Silver Surfer and Dr. Doom. This right here is the trifecta issues where we have the Surfer going up against a major villain in the FF run.
A 3-part Silver Surfer Dr. Doom crossover story.
That's right.
Sounds cool.
They have a relationship too. Like, don't forget that these characters have crossover moments in comic books.
Thought you meant like romantic.
No, not like that.
I'd read that.
I'd read that too, but you know what? That's not what's happening yet.
Got a lot of Monk fans in the chat, by the way.
Shout out.
Yeah,
That's what I'm talking about.
I feel a little shamed right now.
You should.
It's fair.
It's that, I'm telling you, dude, for a USA show, it's that good.
They made Mr. Robot Man. Like,
yeah, they did.
That's fantastic.
You know what else is really good is Psych. I'm a big fan of Psych.
you are.
I love Psych. Shout out Gus. So we have Silver Surfer, 3 issues that go for under $5, and we've even seen it in this past week with Riri and Shuddy News. Their crossover books have spiked to all hell. We've seen people starting to invest in Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur, and Riri's first crossover, which we talked about on this very show.
In this very segment.
This very segment.
Just saying.
Hey, so you know, we're calling some of these right without any real intention of like.
Can I make a weird off-topic point?
Sure, give it to me, Ryan.
Does he have a 6-pack or does he have like a weird 1-pack? It looks like a 1 ab, like a giant. There's no like lines in between his muscles here. This is a very important Silver Surfer on the.
Let's take a look. Let's figure it out.
Okay. I guess the silvery made it kind of
kind
hard.
of. I see.
He needs to be a little more cut, right? Like I need more delineation between the individual abdominal muscles.
Brian started the fire!
I won't buy it just for that alone. Just for the funky abs.
I don't know, Comic Fan. What do you think? Are we looking at abs, or are we looking at like the
Like
Silver Surfer
I
costume?
feel like a
that is,
xenomorph's about to come out of him. Like
He's got like-
something's inside of him that's coming out in a
Yeah.
bad way.
You don't think his abs are coming out? You think that there's something sinister happening?
Yes.
Okay. Well, Comic Fan, this is the Bags and Boards Show podcast.
This is
46.
the content you need to subscrib for. It's talking about
This
people's
is
muscles.
We're asking the tough questions
Dudes'
here,
physiques.
Ryan. You know, but look at this cover, dude. God damn,
I love
dude.
Doom.
God,
Like Silver Surfer's going to be cool in the MCU, but Dr. Doom, man, if they pull him off right, like, that'll be good.
he's one of my favorite villains.
Absolutely.
Easily one of my favorite villains. Him and Magneto, Doc Ock. Like, gosh, we got so many cool characters coming, and it just can't come soon enough. All right. What a time to be alive, comic fam. We're talking about Silver Surfer, Dr. Doom story arcs on the Bags and Boards Show. Just let me look at this. Look at that.
Spoiler alert, that's a Doom bot. Looks like a Doom bot.
It does, but it's, oh man, so freaking cool. Okay, here, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going because we're not letting up here. We have another trifecta to talk about. What?
Ooh. Okay. Speaking of runs that nobody talks about.
How about a Reminder run that is largely overlooked and undervalued and underappreciated?
I enjoyed this. I read the first few issues after Avengers versus X-Men happened. That was right around the time I had way too many books on my pull list back then.
Yeah.
And so I kind of just, I ghosted my first LCS and I just stopped reading individual issues back then. So I fell off of Uncanny Avengers before this. But the first few issues I read of it were really good.
Well, you know what? There's a fantastic story arc that focuses on Kang here. And it is a handful of Kang appearances, variants of Kang. There's a plethora of them. Again, we're not talking about any like major spec value besides just classic. I don't even want to say classic yet. It's too new.
This isn't that old. This isn't even 10 years old.
Yeah, it's not even 10 years old. But just dope Kang covers. Keep an eye out for these in dollar bins. I'm literally finding these right now all over the place. We have Uncanny Avengers issue number 8. Kang on the cover. Bada bing. We have Uncanny Avengers 19. Kang on the cover with also, you got Thor on the cover.
Creepy Spider-Man down there. I didn't notice that before.
Right? And then Avengers 22. Uncanny Avengers 22. So multiple Kang appearances. This is one of those situations when you're looking at a long box and you find Uncanny Avengers, you're looking for number 8. You're looking for 20. You're looking for 19. You're looking for 22. 8, 19, 22.
The
Kang,
first few
Kang,
issues,
Kang.
speaking of Kang, yeah, that's cool for Kang and stuff. But the first few ones I read were about the Red Skull. Who,
That's
like,
right, which is great too.
After I'm a big Red Skull person, and after the death of Charles Xavier, the Red Skull like steals his brain and becomes like a super mutant, and they have to like combine some X-Men and some Avengers, and that's why it's called Uncanny Avengers.
Right.
It's a mix of both teams. It's kind of cool going after like Xavier Skull.
Shout out to Octavio who helps hunt down these comic books for us, and it wouldn't be a list that he helps us with if he doesn't include a Moon Knight comic book. He's our Moon Knight in-house specialist. Very excited to have him on our team because we got a lot of Moon Knight coming, and he's been very, very helpful. And I have not read enough Moon Knight, and I need to because everything I'm reading so far is.
I'm reading the new Moon Knight book that just started.
Yeah, Bueller did a variant of it. Looks great.
He did. I didn't get it though.
Gotta get it.
I got the Peach Momoko one.
Yeah, the peach one's freaking gorgeous.
Occasionally, I really like Peach Momoko's books.
There you go.
I'm more selective than Russ,
Well,
for example.
Russ is like, oh, Peach did it. I need it.
Yes.
All right, we have Universe X. This is an Alex Ross cover. And this is a $2 book, dollar bin book. You can buy it for $5 near mint. But for a person who is into Moon Knight, this is one of those underappreciated books. It is a narrative that focuses on the life and death of Moon Knight. It just takes you on the wild ride of Moon Knight. And it's a great cover. You got the classic Egyptian background.
Sasquatch back there looks like Alpha Flight.
Kind of does, doesn't it?
Can't tell.
So this particular book is one that I can imagine members of the community that are going to come into our community when they see Moon Knight, because you have to remind yourselves every new show is a new wave of collectors,
Right.
New individuals getting into our hobby and our community. So
Welcome.
Hi. It's good to see you. Hit the subscribe button. We're chatting about Moon Knight, and we got a book that goes under $5. That's an Alex Ross cover that covers major moments of Moon Knight's history in comic books. Fantastic.
Magnificent.
Magnificent.